Alright everyone, this is my Pixel 9 Pro and this is iPhone 16 Pro Max. What's here the difference? We are using iOS 26 on the iPhone and we are using Android 16 on the Pixel device, and today we will completely compare them. Let's do this. Okay, yesterday Apple released iOS 26, which is the new name. It should be iOS 19, but they just rename the whole ecosystem just to follow the year of release. And in Android world we are using Android 16 and both are using beta. Android 16 QPR1 Beta 2. This is Beta 2 and this is not the official Android 16 release, because with the official 16 release we are not receiving all these visual changes and just the standard features, and all these visual changes will be available probably in September when Pixel 10 is on sale. Here are the devices on the lock screen, and from that moment you can see how they interact on the lock screen and with their AOD or always on display when you have notifications on the lock screen. You can see Apple has a different approach. All the notifications are here down on the bottom, so they are not bothering the clock. And here Google, yes, I know it's a little bit darker, but here Google we have a slightly clock, the date and the weather, and when we have a notification under it, you can see a small notification, the clock is going smaller and everything is going here on the upper part of the screen. Remove the notification. Now it will go for the lock screen again or AOD, and we'll see the difference. And now you can see we have just the contour of the clock, weather and the clock. At the bottom we have the percentage of the battery, and that's everything we have on the AOD for Android 16. But let's unlock them. Alright, now we are here at the edit page of the lock screen for both OSs, and what we can see, we have here pre-installed versions of the lock screens, which are my previous lock screens. And now if you are here and tap customize, and here it is the famous menu, but now we have that option glass. We have a solid and glass. You can see now it is semi-transparent, and the new innovation here of the Apple is you can just drag and rearrange the clock in a way you want. You can make it smaller, bigger, and of course that depth effect is here, which is very nice. And you can select a widgets here, which are now put here on the bottom part of the screen, and in that way they won't interact your wallpaper. And here is the Pixel device. So if you go here, it's a different menu, but if you go in a clock style, you can select here the size, and you have only large and small. This is it, style, and you have a different pre-installed style of clocks, which is same going for here. If you just want to edit the clock, you have different styles. You can just select different options for the lock screen, but I will not go so in deep because there are enough videos. I just want to show you the new things here. So the new thing is you can put a bigger clock on the lock screen, and on the iOS is with that glass effect, and you can just make it bigger and smaller with using that drag here, and of course depth effect is available too. Let me just show you something interesting. The interesting part is here, the icons, themed icons. This is something which is still in beta. I think it's coming from Android 12 or so, and it's still in beta, and Apple just fixed that with one update. And let me just show you why. If you enable that option and apply it, this is now the themed icons. But can you say they are themed? All of them are themed? Of course no. You can see these icons are not teamed. Google are blaming the app developers for that, but why they are teamed here on iOS 26? Yes, they are not very teamed, all of them, but at least they are trying. You can see the Telegram icon is not in a very good position, but at least they are looking good, and I just cannot understand the hate about all of this. All the videos outside on the internet which are comparing Android 16 and iOS 26, they are trying to hide these icons which are not matching the colors, and I think this is not the right to do this, because Apple just create that effect for everywhere. And these are the home screens. You can see Apple even create that glass effect for the widgets, and this is a weather widget, but of course we can put another one. For example, let's do one here, add widget, and you can see all of them are already tinted with that glass effect. You can see it. That's something I really like. Let's tap on the clock, and even the clock is with that glass effect, like a cutted piece of glass. Just look at it. I think it's beautiful. Here it's not the case, because Google are taking different approach with their so-called material design, and here the clock is different. Let's put the clock, we can resize it of course, but their design is just different. It's not that glass effect which Apple are trying to recreate everywhere. And now let me just show you here. You can see the volume slider, and let's show you the volume slider here. It's going bigger, and if you're trying to adjust, it's going smaller, but you have that red tint around the slider because of the color it's extracted from the wallpaper. And here, of course, if we tap here on these three dots, it will bring the home menu now, and we have that material tree design with these big sliders, which is something I really prefer because it's more easier to interact with them. But let's go for the next thing, which everyone is putting that hate on with this glass design. And this is, sorry, this is not the best place. I will show you here. You can see the control center of the iOS 26, and let me show the control center on the Android 16. Of course, they have a different approach, and you know what, I like that, because they are still different, because we have manufacturers like Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo and so on, which are completely trying to copy iOS, and this is something I don't like. I like to use Android devices because of Android, not because they are trying to copy iOS. If I want iOS, I will just buy the iPhone. Anyway, you can see how the whole background is transparent, and the icons on the background are not very okay, because you cannot see if you are tapping here or you are tapping the icon on the background. And everyone is start blaming. I will just enable a white theme because it will be more visible, and you can see this is laggy. Yes, it is laggy, and probably you can understand that this is laggy too when you are going to the home screen, but I will speak about this later. And now we have the player and all the toggles here, which of course you can edit, and you can make them bigger, smaller, or just Google and their Android 16 is taking the approach of iOS, which was like this from iOS 18, I think, and it is the same. Just hold it in the corner and you can drag it to make it bigger or smaller, which is nice in terms of customization, but I will not go so in deep because this is new to Android 16, but this is not new here in iOS 26. Just look at them. But the background and that transparency is something everyone is blaming Apple, but keep in mind this is still beta 1, and I'm sure they will improve it. Until they are improve that, don't forget we have an option for that. So everyone, calm down. Here is the option. Just go into settings and search for reduce transparency. By the way, the search bar is now on the bottom. Here it is in accessibility, display text and size. I will just go there just to show you. Here it is, accessibility menu, display text and size, and reduce transparency. This is it. Now let's swipe down and you have completely blur background again with the same glass effect. Of course, if you are going now in the home screen, the glass effect is not the same. Let me just show you again. Now it is more like a glass effect, but if you just go and enable that reduced transparency, it's not so glass effect, but it is still very good. I like it and I prefer it in that way. To me, this is the way it should be. And look that now, control center, completely blur background, still using the same glass icons, but the background is blurred and all the icons are more visible. Let's just hold here and select edit, customize, and here now the icons are cleared. But of course you have the option for tinted and they will use the color of your wallpaper, but this is, I think, the same way as it was before. You can make them with more colors, you can make them more transparent, the tint will be less or more. This is something you can decide, but clear is the new option, which is that using that glass effect. And of course we have the default one and the dark icons same as before. So if you want that, just go for it, simple as that. Here we are operating with the same material you designed, nothing special. Just we have a bigger sliders with a bigger separation for the slider, you can see it, just for easy interaction. And we have these new toggles. That's it. Let's go in settings menu. All right, now we are here. I just want to show you some effects. Here still the search bar for Android is on the top. On the iOS it is on the bottom, and with these bigger devices and the way that iOS is not using universal back gesture, I think it's better to be on the bottom part with because this is iPhone 16 Pro Max and it's a very big device, not very usable with one hand. But let me show you an effect here. Just look at it, how the upper part is blurred when you're sliding up. That's a nice effect for sure, that's a nice effect. And if you go display and brightness and hold here that part, you can see that water drop which is going for the display slider. Can you see it? And that's the whole point of iOS 16. iOS 26, and just look at it, it's so beautiful. I think it's nice, very nice. And all the toggles are following that glass design. Definitely something I like. And when you slide up, just look at here, that blurred part, very nice. And Android 16 QPR1 Beta 2 is just hiding behind the search bar when you are going up, and we are missing this nice bouncy effects when you can see that bouncy effects when you are sliding up or down. And that's it, almost everything new here in the settings. Of course we have tons of minor settings which are improved, but I just want to show you the major. Let's go for the camera interface, and this is what Apple do. We have just two options here for video and photo, and this is new with iOS 26. And if you want more options, let's tap video, and just you can see 4K 60 FPS is here. You can just tap it and change it to 30 FPS, for example, and all the major settings are here, just to not confuse you when you are trying to use your camera. And again, when you tap photo, that's it. But if you slide up, here comes more options. For the photo and for the video, it is the same. When you slide up, you can interact here with exposure, and you can see just that glass effect. Of course, it's a little bit laggy, but this is developer beta 1. It's even not available for the public users, so calm down. Just look at it, very nice. And if you are start sliding here, again, that water drop slash glass effect is here. Just look at it, a very nice effect. And now all the options are here. I am not sure lots of people will understand that what Apple are doing here. Probably they will start search all the other mods somewhere, but here in Android we have almost the same. We have two major buttons for photo and for a video, and all the other options are here. And if you just slide up, nothing happens. But if you are using a different brand, for example like Vivo, Xiaomi, if you slide up, more options are coming up. But here, if you tap on that side, we have a general settings, also we have for the Pro mode, and if you tap on that side, we have another options coming, which is a little bit confused. We have one settings on the right side and one setting on the left side. The cleaner menu is definitely coming from the iOS 26, but is it the most useful? I am not sure. The visual effects on the Android 16 Beta 2, they are not so much. That's why I am speaking more about this glass effect on the iOS, because it is more visible, everyone is talking about it, and that's it. Now let's go in photos, for example. You can see again how this is following the whole design. Here we have a white bars on the bottom part, and if you start sliding up, you can see how it is going with that glass effect. Just look at it, it's so beautiful. That animation is just beautiful. And you can see on the browser, Safari is following the same design. It's going smaller. When you slide down, it is again with that glass effect. Transparency, very nice. And that's why I think Apple are trying to do something big with this design, and they will fix it, they will make it more readable. And but here not an update at all, it is just the classic way. And let me just play a song. When you go in dialer, we have here a different menu in dialer 2, and icons are here. This design is coming again here in the dialer menu, so it is everywhere. That's why I like it. Apple are on their way here, and here it is just the same menu as always it was. You can just go for the default icons, and they still have that glass effect, like a glass effect on them, even if you are using the stock icons, but they are more visible. But this glass idea is still available. And you can see that, remember, if you don't like the transparency of control center, which everyone is trying to blame Apple about, just go to settings, accessibility, display and text size, and select reduce transparency. That's it. Now it will be with a blurred background. Just be calm, do this if you prefer it. And this is a very simple and quick comparison between both operating systems. If you like that video and this comparison, and if you want more videos like this, just let me know down in the comments and I will do this. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.